Hey friends, welcome back to another speed build. Today I'm building the house for the Summerdream family from The Sims 2. So they are a household who lives in Veronaville, along with the Caps and the Monties and all of them. So yeah, I'm building this in Windenburg along with the other houses from Veronaville. And their house is pretty close to the Cap house that I did, which I'll link if you want to check that one out. Since in The Sims 2 Veronaville, their house is pretty close to the Caps as well. So I thought that made sense. Plus, their house is kind of a Tudor style as well. So it would fit in better in that area. So the Summerdream family consists of 4 Sims. There's the dad, Oberon, the mom, Titania, the son, Puck, and the daughter, Bottom. And the parents actually aren't married in the Sims 2 version. So I didn't actually, because I recreated the Sims for this household. And I didn't have them be married or engaged or anything, but they are the parents of the 2 children. And what's also interesting is in the Sims 2 version, the children are adopted. So that's pretty neat. There isn't really, I don't think the Sims 4 really denotes, whether a child is adopted or is biological. So I didn't, I just made all the Sims in cast together, because that was easier than trying to adopt kids and then edit them. So since it doesn't, make any difference in the family tree, I didn't bother doing that. But I thought that was a really cool bit of lore, I guess. Yeah. And similar to the Cap and Monty family, the Summerdream family is also named named after and inspired by a work of Shakespeare. So they're named after the play A Midsummer Night's Dream. And Oberon in that play is the king of the fairies, and Titania is the queen. And then Puck is also a fairy, and I don't know if Bottom is, but they're, one of the other characters. So they're, in The Sims 2, they're, kind of supposed to be like fairies, even though I don't know. I don't think The Sims 2 had fairies, at all. Definitely not in the base game, that they came with. But yeah, they're very, colorful and kind of playful, and I made them pretty much all interested in music and singing. I thought that would make sense. Since we don't, have fairies in The Sims 4 either, I couldn't really, recreate them as fairies or anything. But maybe, if we end up getting fairies someday, I can go back and change that. But yeah, I thought that made sense. The Summerdream house in The Sims 2 is also very interesting. I'm pretty sure they must have created specific swatches of carpet and wallpaper and stuff just for this house, just because it's so kind of just weird. It's very colorful, it's very kind of over the top. So since we don't have fairies, we don't have things that really have that vibe. Cottage living maybe a little bit, which I did use the doors and windows from for this place. But instead I went in more of a maximalist direction for this house. So everything is very over the top. It's very colorful, tons of patterns. So just prepare yourself that the inside is going to be very migraine inducing. Oh my gosh, there's one carpet that you'll see that I tried to stick with, but it was just so much. I had to get rid of it and do something else. But yeah, so prepare yourself. And with all of the Sims 2 rebuilds, I try to start off with the original floor plan first, to kind of see how it will work in the Sims 4. Just because, scaling's a little bit different on items. We have different items in general. And plus, I don't know, The Sims 2, I felt loved doing diagonal walls, probably because it was a new feature for that game. So tons of diagonal walls everywhere. So I do get rid of the ones at the front of the build, just since it didn't, it was just kind of a waste of space not to just square it off. So I made that a little bit easier on myself, but yeah, I didn't change the floor plan too much on this one. I adjusted the bedrooms and the bathroom upstairs a little bit, and then I moved the bathroom downstairs just to make it a little bit simpler and make a little bit more sense. With as many Tudor style houses that I've had to do lately for like this series, and then I had also renovated a different Tudor build in Windenburg as kind of like a autumnal build. With as many of those as I've been doing, you're probably sick to death of them. So hopefully after this, I think I only really have one more that I need to do. And then it kind of depends if I want to do any of the commercial lots as like Tudor style. I might, I don't know, renovate one of the bars or something, but I don't think there were any bars in Veronaville in The Sims 2. I don't even know if that was, I think that may have came with Nightlife. That expansion was like, came with like bars and nightclubs and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I should hopefully be done with Tudor styles pretty soon. And here is that carpet I was talking about. I really tried my best to keep it in there, but oh my gosh, between the carpet and the wallpaper and all of the different furniture, I couldn't handle it. So I do end up switching most of the floors throughout the build to just a wood flooring. I thought, I think that would make sense. Maybe they didn't want to like replace all the floors and stuff. I'm trying to like come at this with a more realistic view, even though it's like a family based off of Shakespeare's work. So I don't know what that means, but yeah. I do end up putting a rug in this room though, so there will be a little bit more color on the floor as well. And with this being such a maximalist build, there are a lot of different styles of furniture throughout, like even within the same room. But I do end up using, I think I end up using a lot of stuff from high school years, just because like the Art Deco style really suited the sort of vibe I was going for. But yeah, so lots of different styles, a lot of, patterns, a lot of conflicting things. And honestly, when I first started doing like this style, I was very unsure if I was gonna like how this turns out. And, I definitely would not want to live in a house like this. I think it would like give me a headache, but I do kind of like the effect that it has at the end with all of the different rooms and patterns and everything. I think it certainly suits the family. And yeah, hopefully you agree. You'll have to let me know what you think down in the comments. But yeah, and this house will end up having 3 bedrooms that are furnished, as bedrooms, with the possibility of a 4th if you wanted. I just used that room as kind of like a skill building room with a few different items. In the original, there was a 4th bedroom, but it didn't really make sense since, there's only the 4 Sims and 2 of them are, a couple. So I suppose if they each wanted to have their own bedroom, that would be, that could have been what that was about. But I wasn't really sure when I was looking at the images from the original build. So yeah, I just went with the 3 furnished bedrooms for the 2 kids and the parents, and then the kind of flex space, and then there will be 3 bathrooms as well. So, should be, plenty of space for Sims if you want to, move in a different family, or if you want to download this family. I did, create them in The Sims 4, and they're on the gallery. So if you want to download the actual Summerdream family and move them in, I did try to give them some skills and stuff. I can't remember if I adjusted the relationships though. So you might need to do that. Actually, no, I think I did, because I remember making the kids not like each other very much. Because that's also a little bit of the lore, is that Puck, the son, he's a teen, finds his kid sister very annoying and like really gets on his nerves. So I made their relationship difficult, and each of the kids have I think I said it as a close relationship with the parents. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny that they didn't really like each other that much. And like the Cap and Monty families, I decided to punish myself by making all of the Sims in the family tree for them. So yeah, there are 16 total for this one. So not as bad as like the 40 some for the other two families. And 4 of them are like the actual living Summerdreams who, you know, live in this house. But yeah, I did go through and make the, you know, the first and second generation, and then this is technically the third and the fourth generations who live in this house. So yeah, that took a minute, and really for no real reason. I mean, the 2 parents have all of the gravestones in their inventory, though I don't think that, you know, goes to well, like uploads to the gallery. So, you know, it's not even like useful for you all to download, but I was just being obsessive and wanted to recreate them just for my own gameplay, I guess. But yeah, so that took a minute. So here I'm working on the second bedroom. This is for Puck, the teen son, and go with, you know, blue and white is kind of the main colors that I was working with here. And yeah, fairly simple. I like the size of this room. The layout's kind of interesting, so I kind of tucked the bed kind of back in that smaller space, and gave him, you know, a desk with a nice computer. You know, I imagine they have money from generations, so they're not really hurting there. And yeah, fairly, I mean, other than, you know, the wild wallpaper, it's, you know, a pretty simple layout overall. But I like the colors and everything that I went with in here. I thought it turned out pretty nicely. And this next bedroom is Bottoms, the daughter, and her original bedroom was you know, very pink and colorful, so I kind of leaned into that. I think that bed is from Seasons, with like the not quite a canopy, but, you know, like the sheer curtains on there, which I thought fit really well with like her personality. I do reuse the same dresser there from the parents' room, just, you know, in a different color, which, you know, I think is fine. And I just kind of, you know, I tried to use flowers and stuff throughout too. I imagine they have, you know, some sort of connection with nature, being, you know, fairies, you know, at least in theory, since we can't actually do that in The Sims. But yeah, and then I just gave her some posters. I wanted to make sure she had some toys in here. I'm pretty sure she had a dollhouse in the original, so I definitely wanted to make sure I brought that in here. And then I will give her just a small desk as well that she can use for, you know, doing homework and stuff. And, you know, you could always add a computer later if you wanted to. I just didn't really think that she would need one. Although now I'm realizing that I think Puck has the only computer in the house. So if you do download this off the gallery, you might want to add another computer, just so everyone isn't going into his room to use his, since Sims love to just autonomously use the computer, which, you know, I relate to. That's all I ever do. So I ended up spending just over 6 hours on this build, which is really long for me. I think I was really struggling with doing like maximalist design especially at first. But it just took so much longer to pull out so many more items than I, you know, kind of normally do. Plus, like, going through all the different like color swatches to find ones that are so like over the top, but still, you know, coordinate with other things. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I still want it to look nice, even if, you know, you might need to take some Tylenol before you go in and take a look at it. But yeah, it just took so much longer than I was expecting to do this one. I think the cap like manner that I did was like just under 4 hours. So yeah, quite a bit longer. Plus I spent like another 2 hours recreating the family tree, which was, you know, again, completely unnecessary, but I think I just really love to torture myself with making Sims, so that is what I spent my time doing. And yeah, here is the extra room that could very easily be turned into a bedroom if you wanted to. I just used it as just more space for skill building items. I put the chess table in there, and an easel, and then just a bookcase. And then I'll put in like a chair and some other like a table and stuff. So yeah, but easily could be a bedroom. It could also be an office I considered doing. I didn't really think that they needed like a more formal office. They, don't strike me as the kind of Sims who need, office space to do remote work or something. This house ends up having just tons of seating everywhere too, mostly because they have like a really big entrance hall downstairs, and then even this hallway landing area upstairs is pretty large. So I just really wanted to fill up space, so just used a bunch of different couches and chairs, and put up a bunch of different artwork in here. I really like those really large square ones that came with, I want to say they came with City Living. Those always have some like really fun prints, and I thought the ones that I chose coordinated really well with the colors in this like hallway area. And I believe the chairs and the love seats are from Nifty Knitting. I really love that green color that they come in. I would love a chair. Well, I guess I do kind of have a chair like that. I mean, it's definitely in that color. It's just more of I don't know. I guess it's maybe technically a wingback. It's not like that fancy though. It's just like a chair from IKEA, but just love that green color. And here in this entrance hall, they had these interesting stairs that like go different directions up. So I wanted to definitely, bring those through. I thought that was really interesting. I've been having that, well, I guess it's, a feature, not a bug, but with the railings disappearing with walls. Yeah, that's really annoying. Hopefully they change that, so if you build a wall or a fence next to the stairs, the whole railing doesn't just disappear. Yeah, they need to work on that. But yeah, and then I did add in that bathroom downstairs. It used to be kind of between the living room and the entrance hall, but since the entrance hall was so big and just kind of, empty, I just moved the bathroom over there. And then yeah, here for the living room, use a lot of blue and kind of gold accents, a lot of white as well, and I think it ends up looking, pretty nice, at least as nice as this sort of style can look. You'll have to let me know if you like a maximalist style. It's not, personally for me, I don't know. It would be a bit much. I do like bold colors in real life, and interior design. But this is, a bit much, I think, for me personally. But you'll have to let me know if you like this. Would you live in this house? I mean, I would probably live in this house if someone gave it to me for free, just because it's enormous. But yeah. And then I decided to do basically an enormous built-in bookshelf on this wall. I cover pretty much the whole wall with these bookcases from the Book Nook kit, which might be my favorite kit. I think I'm gonna get like the most use out of this one. Like these pieces are just like so versatile and work in like any kind of build you want to do. So yeah, and I really appreciate that they came out with different color swatches of like the shelves are all the same color, but then different swatches of the books on them. That way it doesn't look so repeated. So really appreciate that. And I did skip ahead a bit because I pulled out just a ton of clutter items to put in the kind of empty spaces in the shelves, just to give it, a bit more personality. But that took forever. So, I mean, overall, like with the 6 hours of content that I had for the speed build, when I put it into Premiere Pro, which is what I use for editing, and sped it up, I had like a solid 46 minutes of speed build, which was just a bit too long. So yeah, I ended up cutting about 15 minutes out of that. I really try to keep these at like 30 minutes or less, but this one's a little bit longer. So hopefully you can forgive me. I know 30 minutes can be, that's kind of the end of my attention span for a speed build. So you'll have to let me know, what kind of length you like for a speed build for these kind of videos. That would be really helpful to know. I mean, if you like a 46-minute video, I can certainly make those. Especially if you don't want it sped up as much, but yeah, you'll have to let me know. But yeah, here in the kind of entrance hall, it's just very decorative. There's not a lot of, what I would say are like very functional items in here. I usually, you know, if I have a big space like this, I don't really add a lot of activity items. Like there's usually not, you know, good activity items from The Sims to put in a space like this other than like couches. So there's, you know, plenty of seating, but yeah, mostly artwork, plants, all of that kind of good stuff. And I jumped ahead a little bit. You can see I pulled out just a whole bunch of kind of random items that I'll try to use later. I find that helps, you know, helps me kind of do a build is when I'm going through the catalog looking for something and I see other things that I think I might want to use, just kind of pulling them out so I don't forget about them, but then also don't have to spend more time looking for them later. So yeah, just kind of doing that certainly helps. And the original version of this house had a lot of very kind of ornate, what I would say is like more like high-end antique furniture and things like that. So I kind of wanted to have a balance of those sort of antique pieces that, you know, maybe have been passed down through the generations, but also some more kind of modern touches. So I imagine, you know, they've renovated this kitchen, so it's much more modern than quite a bit of the, you know, rest of the house. And I think the kitchen might be my favorite room in the house. Either this or Puck's bedroom. I really like the blue color in there, but I really like this kitchen because it's, I don't know, it's kind of chaotic, really. Like the yellow and the red color, like they're just so bright and kind of jarring to come in here. Plus like the very modern kitchen, like cabinets and everything, against this like very ornate, you know, almost antique wallpaper. I think is just like really interesting. Plus, yeah, I don't know, like the deep red, I really liked. I reuse it in these like bar stools, and I'll also reuse it in the dining room table chairs. I thought, I don't know, I just really liked that color. I thought it looked really nice in here and it's very sort of regal almost. This house also has quite a few bars. Like when I was putting the one in here, I don't know, I must have just like kind of spaced that there was already a bar outside on those sort of decks. And then there's also the globe bar in the living room. So yeah, plenty of places to, you know, have a drink, which is always nice. You know, you never have to go more than about 20 feet to get yourself a drink, which, you know, that's how I try to live my life, you know. But yeah, for Saturday's video, I'm thinking of doing some sort of build challenge. I'm still debating which one I want to do. Right now I'm thinking I might try to use like one item from every pack, and I don't know if that means like I can only use one item from that pack, and like those are the only items I can use. So I gotta figure out exactly what I want to do, but yeah, I kind of want to do a like more of a build challenge video. So yeah, you'll have to let me know if that is something you're interested in seeing. I'm obviously really enjoying doing these like recreation of the Sims 2 builds. I've been thinking about doing more, like trying to recreate things from like TV shows and movies, or like just from real life. So if you have any, you know, ideas or thoughts, things you want me to try to build, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Yeah. And then I think the video, the next one after the challenge one will be the Monty Ranch, which I gotta get on. I gotta still create all those Sims. So that's probably gonna take me like all week to do. That's all I'm gonna be doing in my free time, is just recreating Sims for no real reason, but yeah. So in the build, this backyard is really interesting because they have these like raised, I don't know, decks, platforms that are, you know, kind of supposed to be built into this little hillside. So it's very interesting. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to like represent, or like, I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be, because like this part where I'm putting the musical instruments, like this clearly looks like a stage, even though in the Sims 2 version they didn't have anything on that area, which just felt like a really big waste of space. So I put a bunch of musical instruments on there. I thought that made sense. So I don't know if this is supposed to be kind of like a little amphitheater, but that's kind of what I tried to do with it. Other than, I mean, the ones on the side, like in the original, there was like a bar and they had like a buffet table on the one side, and then like the sun loungers on the other side. And then I also added in the like bubble blower machine. I think that came with City Living. I thought they would be people who would really enjoy partaking in that, if you catch my drift. Because I think that's supposed to be like the Sims 2's or the Sims version of like a hookah thing. And the backyard is definitely where the exterior of this build really shines. Because the front of the build, I mean, it basically feels like one big flat wall, which is, you know, what the original looked like. They didn't, on the sides, like the entrance, theirs was just like arches, like you could just like walk right in. So I did do actual doors for the build. But yeah, so, and I also wanted to like really like overly landscape, like tons of flowers and bushes and stuff. I did start out by being like very simple with it, but then I realized, you know, if they're supposed to be like fairies, they're probably like very connected with nature. So I wanted to add in a ton of like flowers and very colorful items as well. So yeah, I think the backyard especially, I think ends up looking really nice if I do say so myself. I really like how in the front and the back I did this sort of double layered hedge. Although in the back it's like, you know, these more colorful flowers. But yeah, I wanted to, you know, really bring in all of that. And then these two big trees that I use, they have the lanterns in them, which do act as a light source. So at night it is all nice and lit up there. I can't remember. I think that tree did it come with one of like the pre-order bonuses, which I have mixed feelings about that. I know they want to like encourage people to order the pack early and all of that, which, you know, I get from a business standpoint, but it is really disappointing to not get items, especially if you are paying full price for the pack anyway, just like after the you know, pre-order date. I think that's kind of crappy. So, and with as expensive as packs are in The Sims 4, you think they could, you know, afford to give everyone those 3 extra items that they're trying to gatekeep. So very annoying. But yeah, here in the build, I am just kind of finishing up with doing all of the lighting around the lot. I use a lot of these sconces. I think those ones are from Growing Together, along with the ceiling lights. You know, since everything else is like so patterned and so bold, the lighting fixtures themselves I kept fairly simple. Just since they aren't really supposed to, you know, be the statement piece on the wall. But yeah, I liked the sconces throughout. I thought, you know, since it's kind of older style, you know, I imagine that would be kind of, you know, what a lot of the light fixtures would have been. At least at some point, probably not when the house was built. The house probably was built before electricity was, you know, even discovered. So, but yeah, you know, sconces are certainly very popular in houses like this. But yeah, I'm really curious what you all think of this house. I know it's certainly a departure from, you know, things that I like, at least the style wise, it's like much different than what I would normally do. So yeah, please let me know what you think. If you want to see more maximalist style builds, I can certainly do my best to try doing that. So yeah, let me know. And in the original version, outside in the back, they had a couple of what looked like street lights, like in the back patio. So I do have a couple back there, or you know, I will. But I didn't want to like do as much with them as they did in the original house, because I didn't think it, you know, was as realistic to have what looked like, you know, actual street lights just in your backyard. Plus, I added some lights around the hot tub because I ended up sinking that area. And I really wanted to put lights on the side of the wall that you'll see, but I couldn't get them to, they don't really snap to platform walls, so that didn't work out. So I ended up putting just like floor lights, which was fine. But that's going to wrap it up for me. I want to thank you so much for watching. I know this was a longer video, and I really appreciate it. I know there's a million things you could be doing. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. That helps a lot. And please subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks so much. Have a great day.